Locked In Baseball, Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. The Blue Jays won tonight in Game 4 of the World Series, 6-2, making, in my opinion, a pretty big statement. I am William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. How you doing, my friend?
Locked In Baseball Pod, baby. Tuesday night. It is 11:16, baby. You know how it is. Running on fumes today. Only 3 hours of sleep today. Definitely a rough one in the office. But, again, we don't have bullpen guys to call in for our jobs. So we definitely had to do a Shohei Ohtani. Maybe I left the bases loaded when I left work today. But, hey. I hope my bullpen can relieve me of my duties, but I don't have a bullpen. So yeah, tomorrow I'll have to clean out the bases loaded jam if I can, or I may just let 4 runs score like tonight.
Hey,
so
much better timing today. It's 10:17 Central, 11:17 Eastern. The game was just under 3 hours. Hey, it's still you're up. You're always up till 2 a.m. anyways. Don't act like you're not. I know your sleep schedule.
No, you don't. I'm actually a man of. I'm actually doing these like changes. It's the winter arc. I'm actually undergoing some life changes. I'm focusing on myself, focusing on my diet, cucumber water, lemon water. We're trying to get healthy. I'm trying to like my off season goal. Like we're right around the corner of the off season. I want to be like Giancarlo Stanton. Like I need to be like Giancarlo Stanton by spring trading. I want to be a non-baseball player build, if you know what I mean.
Fair enough.
But that's not anything about tonight. I mean, we just got to get going tonight. I mean, 6-2, Blue Jays won. Let's just go through the box score quickly. I mean, that's the big talking point. Shane Bieber, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Ohtani was valiant tonight. Definitely, you could tell he was tired. Definitely grinded it out tonight. 6 innings strong, 6 hits, 4 earned. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Left the game with 1 earned, but Anthony Banda inherited a couple guys and couldn't get those outs essentially. And tonight was a game that like I said last night. I mean, if there's a team to come and band together and take last night's loss, which would be a negative and would be a series ender to a lot of teams. They banded together and they showed the heart and the will of champions against the defending champions, and the band of misfits of 1/3 of that team started in the minor leagues. A story that everybody can get behind. A bunch of grinders, dudes who thought they didn't have a chance at making the majors, came together tonight, grinded out the Dodger bullpen and got the W. I mean, 6-2. I mean, we can just go ahead and talk about, Vladimir Guerrero became Shohei Ohtani. And then I think the big inning, it's always in the series been the 6th or the 7th inning as the big inning in game 1, 2, and 4 tonight. As the 7th inning, you see the Blue Jays get 4 across. William, let's talk about it. What do you think about Shohei's performance on the mound? I think that's the biggest talking point to talk about. Go ahead.
Ohtani, yeah, he was, Smoltz loves Ohtani. He was he was glazing Ohtani tonight. Fair enough, great pitcher, but he was saying how much he loves him and watching him pitch. And he's got a lot of movement on his stuff. He was definitely tired. I think that is a key point. And they always talk about how much he really loves sleeping. It's like his favorite hobbies are baseball and sleeping. And apparently he gets like 10 to 12 hours of sleep every single night. Obviously, that was not the case yesterday as he left the ballpark after 12 o'clock local time in LA. Which, by the way, I saw a lot of Dodger fans complaining on Twitter about it being a late night game for them. I mean, give me a break. We had East Coasters going to bed at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever it was.
We went to bed at 4 a.m. When's the latest Dodger game Pacific this season? I think all their games start 10 Pacific and like at night during like the weekdays, hopefully.
10 Pacific?
No, 10 Eastern. That's what I'm saying. And they're usually done by 9 or 10. But regardless, I mean, talk about it.
Yeah, Ohtani was good. I thought he only really made 3 big mistakes. Obviously, the one was the 2-run shot that flat hit in the 3rd inning, his first home run of the World Series. That made him the all-time Blue Jays postseason leader in home runs with 7, passing Joe Carter and Jose Bautista. That was just a hanging sweeper. got up over the plate, and Vlad did what Vlad does. He took care of business there. That was after the Dodgers, and I thought that was kind of a key swing in the game where the Dodgers, started the scoring in the second. They took the lead 1-0. By the way, the Dodgers have scored first in every single game this series. The only teams to score first in the first 4 games of the World Series are the 2004 Sox, the 2012 Giants, the 2024 Dodgers, and now the 2025 Dodgers. All of those teams went on to win the series, except for, obviously, that is still TBD for this year's team. But the Dodgers started the scoring in the second, but Vlad made that statement in the third. And hanging sweeper out over the plate. That was his first extra base hit in the World Series. Just a good piece of hitting. If you make a mistake like that on Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he is going to take care of it. And then the only other 2 big mistakes I thought Ohtani made were in the 6th inning when he eventually got pulled. The top of the 7th inning when he got pulled. Started out with back-to-back hits in that inning. That was obviously the big inning for the Blue Jays where they scored 4. And fun fact, Ohtani has still not gotten an out in the 7th inning as a Dodger. The last time he did that was July 2023.
That's interesting.
That was the game that he obviously he was injured last year with the Dodgers, to be fair. But that was the game where it was the doubleheader in Detroit. He threw a complete game shutout. I think it was like a 1-hitter. And then the night game, he hit 2 home runs. Anyways, I give it a B for Ohtani. He was good given the circumstances. You have to weigh in the circumstances for this start. And, the Blue Jays did a really freaking good job in that 7th inning against the Dodger pen. They reverted back to the Blue Jays that we know, the Blue Jays that we've seen all postseason, and they were grinding at bats. And they, ended up scoring 4 runs in that inning. So, we can talk 7th, but if you want to keep talking Ohtani, we can as well.
I mean, I'm not going to waste the Ohtani. I think the bigger story is tonight is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., how they took the approach of the Ohtani approach, not letting him hit, walking him later on in the game. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I think, is really underrated as a first baseman. I mean, let's look at the stats this postseason. I mean, in the World Series, he's hitting .333 with a .444 OBP and a .333 slug. And like you said, I last night, every time he came up to the plate in the extras, I felt like he was that one guy I feared that can end the game. And I felt like he was due last night for a big hit. And obviously it didn't happen last night. It happened tonight with the home run blast. And, the Blue Jays, what can we say more? The grinding aspect. And I don't want to just keep saying that word because I feel like it's been, washed through our heads that they're a grinder team. They go for it, and they get those at-bats, and they get the Dodger pen to throw pitches and everything. But I think tonight's bigger statement is Dodger hitting has been struggling. Aside from Ohtani going nuclear, let's just look at the games prior. I mean, tonight was a 62 game. Yeah, they scored in the 9th, and they got that 1 run in the 2nd. But beforehand, I mean, we can talk about last night, everybody struggled aside from Ohtani and Freeman. The night before, you have Saturday where they scored 5, which it came off of Will Smith. One guy literally hitting a homer, and then Max Muncy. Just those 2 guys stepping up to the plate. And in the game 1, they scored 4 runs. Ohtani got the homer, and then the RBIs came off Will Smith and Kike Hernandez. But aside from that, the lineup hasn't really been providing for this vaulted lineup with all the money that they pay out to these guys. They really haven't shown up. I mean, Mookie's been struggling this whole World Series. I mean,
he's been rough.
Freddie's been okay. And at this point, walking Ohtani to go to beds is, I think it's the play from the series on. I know they went after Ohtani tonight, and
it worked.
It worked because, I mean, look, I don't want to give this guy, because we just crowned him last night as the greatest of all time, I don't want to give any excuses, but, being a hitter and a pitcher, it's hard. It's 2 different mindsets, and being elite at both is already hard enough. With the mental strain of last night's, given the circumstances, as you said, it's a tough ask. But, I mean, he is Shohei Ohtani, and if there's a guy to do it, it's him, and he definitely didn't have it tonight at the plate. But, I mean, the Dodger hitting, man, it's just something we got to keep an eye on. The lineup hasn't gotten it going, and aside from the 6-run explosion that was last night, I mean,
and that was really Ohtani. Yeah.
But, yeah, the lineup really hasn't done much.
Agreed. On the World Series, they have a 692 OPS, which is less than the Blue Jays. They're hitting 214 as a team in the World Series. The Jays are hitting 259. They do have the 7 home runs. It has been very Otani centric, boomer bust centric for this team. They struck out 40 times to the Blue Jays 37 times. And to your point, Otani didn't have it tonight, and they just didn't produce. Otani was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a walk, and everybody else, coincidentally enough, Freeman had 2 hits tonight. Betts had 1, but nothing from the bottom third of the lineup tonight. Edmund, Kike, and Pajes. Edmund had the 1 hit. But yeah, they really didn't threaten. And I do think that is a testament to Blue Jays pitching. Like, we do have to give some credit to them as well. I thought Shane Bieber gave them a really, really good start in this game. Looked a little bit shaky early, had to work, but he got through 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned. You mentioned the 3 walks and the 3 Ks. That was a good start from him. And then Fluharty came in a really big spot in the 6th. After Bieber gave up the single to Teoscar Hernandez. It was 1st and 2nd with 1 out. They went to Fluharty, who got Muncy on the first pitch to fly out to center, and then we had the strikeout on Edman on 3 pitches. All of them were sweepers. That was a really big spot in that game when it was still 2-1 at that point. And then the next inning is when the Blue Jays scored all of the runs. So, if things go differently in that inning, who knows what that game looks like. So big credit to Bieber. I also thought Bieber had a really good 3rd inning after Vlad had the 2-run shot in the top of the inning, making it 2-1. You had Bieber going up in the bottom of the inning against the top third of the Dodger order, and he went 1-2-3, or sorry, he went 1-2, and then Freeman got a single, but then Will Smith got out. So that was a big, quick inning for him. We always talk about how, after your offense has a big inning or they score some runs, you take the lead. You really, really need your pitcher to come out and have a shutdown inning and kind of keep that momentum. And he did a really good job in this game. I thought it might have been a little early of a hook, but I think it was the right spot going Fluharty against Muncy, because Muncy has really bad numbers against lefties this season. So credit to Schneider. I thought he managed a pretty good game tonight. The only one maybe that I didn't love is when he pinch hit Ty France for Nathan Lucas, when Lucas started the game out 2 for 3, but Ty France had the RBI fielder's choice, and that decision proved to work out for him as well. So good game from Schneider, good game from the Jays in general. I thought you got to give credit to the pen from Toronto. Bassett had some.
Of course, you got to give credit.
Bassett had some huge outs, going 2 innings. Didn't really give up anything, only 1 hit. The Dodgers didn't threaten against him. And then Varland made it a little nerve-wracking in the 9th. They had to warm up Hoffman there at the end, which I don't think Jays fans really like to see Varland struggle. But Varland, when he needed to get outs in the bottom of the 9th, he did. He got the bottom third of that order out and did not have to face Otani again. Because if they had to face Otani again in that situation, top of the order, even if it's 6-2, 6-3 in that instance, you're nervous as a Jays fan. So good job by Varland to slam the door there as well. And it was just a good game from the Jays in general, obviously.
I mean, yeah, you give credit to the Jays pen, but I mean, we got, like I said, I don't know. It's just, you got to see more from the Dodger hitting. I mean, I got some stats up. Mookie Betts is hitting 158. Tommy Edman, 167. Max Muncy, 176. Kike Hernandez, 188. Will Smith, 235. The only guys, in my mind, with respectable batting averages are Teoscar Hernandez at 278, Freddie Freeman at 294, and Shohei Ohtani at 400. And Shohei Ohtani has, let's see how many walks. He has 7 walks. So, I mean, we got to just see more. And, yeah, the pen did great for the Blue Jays. But, I mean, when you got guys like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, dudes that are respectable stars and respectable all-stars and superstars, you gotta make something happen. You got to make something shake. You got to put some pressure on that pen, and you got to drive some runs home. I mean, can't go without saying, yeah, credit the Blue Jays, credit the pen and everything, but Dodger hitting has to step up.
I think it's a story of both here, because the Blue Jays pen, it's going to fly under the radar, but they were lights out last night against the Dodgers for like 9 innings.
They did the same thing. They did the same thing tonight, and they did this. Like, we need to stop, and you need to stop giving the Blue Jays pen a lot of credit. Like, they should get credit.
What are you talking about?
They should get credit, but they've been doing this all postseason long.
So then they deserve the credit.
I'm saying they do, but it's just like, you're like making it out to seem like this is a bigger deal for the Blue Jays bullpen. They've been doing this all. It's Dodger hitting, not producing. They're not producing right now in the biggest moment.
I mean, yes, I think it can be both. I think both can be true. You can give credit to the Blue Jays pen while also realizing that the Dodgers aren't doing enough. And I think the story from this game is this was a statement victory for the Toronto Blue Jays. I thought the Dodgers made a statement in game 2 when they went into Rogers Center and won. But coming off, the 18-inning loss on Monday night, it felt like a body blow. It felt like almost a knockout blow. A lot of people were saying the series was over at that point. It was a turning point in the series. The Dodgers were going to go on and win in 5, and backs completely against the wall. Dodgers have Ohtani pitching the next day. You lose Springer. He's out of the lineup today. Bichette moves to the DH role where, he's banged up. He can't really run the bases. You got Bieber, a strong arm going, but it's not necessarily a Yesavage or a Gosman. And I think the Dodgers were a pretty heavy favorite tonight. All of the all of the odds were in the Dodgers' favor in this game, and the Blue Jays did what the Blue Jays do, and we've said it all season. They grind you down. They have challenging at-bats. They forced Ohtani out of the game in the 6th, and that Andres Gimenez at-bat where he had an 8-pitch at-bat, fouled off a couple of pitches, and eventually got the, kind of a seeing eye single out there to left field to give them a 3-1 lead. That was a turning point, and the floodgates really opened at that point. Jimenez not getting doubled off at first on the IKF line drive was huge. Then you had the Ty France ground out. And then, Bichette and Barger single to really blow it open and make it 6-1. Bullpen slams the door. And I just think full credit to the Blue Jays when the whole world was picking the Dodgers and celebrating the crazy Game 3 victory. They stayed the course. They showed up the next day and they got a freaking win. And now it's a best out of 3 series and you're going home to Toronto guaranteed. Anything can happen at this point. So I'm not betting against the Blue Jays at this point in the series because they've proved us wrong all season long. Heading into the season, man, most people were picking this team to finish last in the division. Who would have thought? If you told me that the Blue Jays would have a best out of 3 situation against the Los Angeles Dodgers to win the World Series, I would have thought you're crazy if you told me that preseason. But here they are. They've been proving people wrong all freaking season. I'm not betting against them at this point. It makes no sense, but they're so good.
I still will because they're Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts, and I just feel like they're just going to turn it around at some point. Like that inning's going to have to, have some sort of positive, not regression, but some positive upward tick. Like it's not going to be this bad. They can't be this bad. Like just. This is just rock bottom. Like they're going to have to turn up. And I think next game is going to be a big one. Like I said, John Schneider, we need to give him his flowers. Like you said earlier, he's been managing a wonderful World Series. I know last night he made the decisions he had to make. You try to get the run in, you try to put the player who's faster so you can get that run in. You make the defensive replacements. You do all that. And the game just didn't go your way. And tonight, the game went his way. He did a great job. He's done a great job managing the pen, great job managing the bench players and everybody. When the Blue Jays players, when their number is called, they've been showing up and rising up to the occasion. I really did like what they did in putting Bo at DH, and I kind of like this lineup a little bit more. I know George Springer is great, and you need him in the lineup, but I kind of like how it worked out having Bo at DH, Barger at right, Varsho center, Clement, Jimenez, and IKF. I kind of liked it a little bit more. I don't know. You got to squeeze, if George Springer's healthy, which they were talking about on the telecast, he could be able to come back this postseason. I mean, he's going to have to be in the lineup somewhere. You're going to have to fit him. And it's just probably going to, Bichette's probably going to be the guy that's going to get the axe, unfortunately. So
Schneider made it seem like Springer's going to be in the lineup tomorrow in the interview. We'll see what happens. I think the oblique thing is pretty serious, but what do I know?
That's gamesmanship. I mean, you can see something like that happen, but I mean, what's up?
Can I speak on the lineup tomorrow for Toronto? I think Bichette has to be in the lineup, which is a tough situation because there's only one DH slot. And
Bichette that's what I was saying today. It's just like I really like today's lineup. Mm-hmm. I really like the defense too.
With Snell on the mound, I think you'll probably see Schneider and Straw. Those guys usually play against lefties for them. Don't love the at-bats we've seen from Straw this postseason or Schneider, but we might see that against Snell. It's your second time seeing Snell. It's going to be Savage as well for Toronto. The thing with Toronto, tomorrow's a huge game. A lot of people will say it's a must-win. They did lose Game 5 in this exact same situation in the ALCS and came back to win the series. They got home field advantage back. The Dodgers are going to have to win a game in Toronto to win this thing. So this was a pivotal. This totally changed the whole vibe of the series for me. If
I
you don't
just-
think if the Dodgers go up 3-1, it's over. They're not. No one's winning 3 straight against this Dodgers team.
I mean, this Dodgers team just really struggling at the plate right now. That's just my thing. I mean, they're just due. Like, I think we knew the Blue Jays were going to give them a series. Last night was really close. Last night could have gone the other way. You had some great defensive plays done by the Dodgers, and they did a good job. You talked about the Blue Jay lineup, how Bo has to be in there. Maybe you get George Springer to come in as a pinch hitter late in the game, maybe for Straw or for Schneider, and then Schneider or Straw comes in as a defensive replacement because it's going to happen. I know it's not the best thing to do, but I mean, you're going to have to do it. Or pinch runner in that sense that, he gets a single or a double. Schneider or Straw goes in and takes over defensively potentially. I think, for the Dodgers, you got to shake it up a little bit tomorrow. I mean, Andy Pages has to not start tomorrow. Like, it's getting to the point where Dodger fans today, and even I was like, I texted you, Andy Pages is getting another start in center. I know he's good defensively. No, Tommy Edmonds hobbled at second base, and he's played really good second base defensively. But, man, you have to get Andy Pages out of the lineup. Like, he's just not producing right now. He is a black hole in the lineup. No offense. I feel like there'd be a lot more pressure if there was a better hitter in the 9-hole, getting on base, setting the table for Ohtani. It just changes the course of how Ohtani will get pitched, and it makes Mookie Betts' life a little bit easier because, say, thinking about tomorrow, they put somebody in, let's say Alex Cole, he gets a single, he gets on base. You obviously don't want to give up anything to Shohei, so Shohei maybe gets walked or they intentionally walk Shohei. Mookie Betts then has 2 men on base, and they're going to go at him. And I feel like, that's a point where he can eat.
You can make an argument that the 9-hole spot is the most important hitter in the whole lineup for the Dodgers because, to your point, he sets the table for how Ohtani is going to be pitched. If that guy's constantly putting pressure on the pitcher, working counts, getting on base, working walks, whatever, taking hit by pitches, however, he's just got to be a scrappy hitter, whatever he's got to do to get on. And I do think Pages had, a decent swing on one of those pitches where he drove a ball out to center today, but he got pulled for call later in this game. I think it's got to be call. To your point, it's not like the Dodgers have the deepest bench. They don't have, I don't know, a guy like I think the Yankees had a good bench this year. I know they lost early, but I thought,
they did.
Rosario, Slater, even Dominguez coming off the bench. They don't have really anybody that good coming off the bench. Call, he's got some speed. He's had some okay at bats. I think he should just get a chance in this game. Pages was so good in the regular season for the Dodgers. I think he hit like 27 something home runs. It's not working for him in the postseason. They got to change it up. This lineup is not hitting. I agree. It's a credit to Blue Jays pitching, but it's also just the Dodgers not producing offensively. They got to shake it up a little bit. I know they moved Muncy and Teoscar around before game 3, I think it was, but we need different players in the lineup. And
we need somebody else in that 9-hole. We need somebody else patrolling center field, please. Like, for the love of Dodgers fans, like, but what does Ha-Seong Kim have to do to get a couple ABs? I mean, I know Alex Call got the call last night, no pun intended, and he got the call tonight. But, like, I mean, he wasn't doing anything for me either. I mean, he had a good swing in the 9th. But what does Ha-Seong Kim have to do to get in the lineup? Is Tommy Edmonds' ankle injury that bad that he cannot patrol center field? And he was patrolling center field pretty decently last night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like Giancarlo Stanton. You're putting Giancarlo Stanton out there to patrol center field.
And the thought crossed my mind on Bichette and how Bichette got pinch ran for yesterday. How I know Bichette is injured, it's different, but the Yankees run Giancarlo Stanton on the base pass. Like, I keep Bichette in the game.
No, but aside from the Bichette,
I know.
Like, is Tommy ankle, like, it doesn't make any sense to me how Tommy Edman can play second base. He can run the base pass, and he can run the bases in critical moments at the end of the game, as we saw. He got the double. He got moved over by Miggy Rojas, and they kept him in there at third to potentially, get the sac fly home. Like, is his ankle that bad that he can't play a full game of center field? Like, he played last night and he was okay. I know you're more comfortable with the natural, healthier player, but at this point, I would sacrifice just how bad the offense is right now for the Dodgers. How, I don't want to say bad, but how cold it is. And my mom called me and she was like, "What's wrong with the Dodgers?" And I'm like, "The bats are cold. They're ice. They're the Coors Light right now. They're blue. The bats are blue. Like the mountains, my boys. What is Ha-Seong Kim gotta do to get into the lineup is my thing. Or just get a couple swings.
Yeah, I agree. They got to shake it up a little bit. It'll be Call or Kim.
Does it make sense with with Edman being able to play center, being able to run the bases, but they refuse to put him out there? I know defensively, Tommy Edman, second baseman, and I understand how middle infield defense is very important, especially with a team like the Blue Jays that get these like little league hits and they grind out these singles. I understand, but it's getting to the point where you're hurting yourself at the lineup. So I will be very interested when that lineup card comes out tomorrow around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was driving to the gym and I was like, why? Like, why do we have Pagez? And no offense, with great regular season, we talked about it a lot. It was a sleeper this year, but man, it's just not clicking right now. And he has to take a seat.
Yep, agreed. Kim hasn't started since the last game of the regular season, so I don't know. He'd be cold. It'd be his first.
Will Kim didn't pitch for I don't know how. Not Will Kim. Will Klein didn't pitch for I don't know how long, and look what he did. I mean, at this point, you just got to give opportunities. It doesn't matter. There's unsung heroes coming out of nowhere. It's the Fall Classic. It's a new hero every year. You see David Freese. You see Will Klein. There's always a new guy every year making their name in the Fall Classic. And this lineup needs to get it together, because if it doesn't get it together, I think Toronto can go ahead and carry the World Series home.
It's crazy. What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I mean, I think Snell gets together. I mean, Snell's at home. He understands how he does it. I don't think Savage goes that deep, and I think he kind of gets found out. I mean, the thing about Savage is he's such a unique pitcher with his release point coming up really high that I feel like we saw the Dodgers make adjustments in game one to do so. And I feel Blake Snell will make some adjustments. I mean, we already see the pitching staff making a lot of adjustments from game one. I mean, the bullpen wasn't bad aside from Banda and Ohtani putting the guys on. I tend to think the Dodgers get it done tomorrow. Again, I like the Dodgers here.
Okay. Snell got roughed up in game one. Savage wasn't great either. I think the Blue Jays win tomorrow. I'm starting to lean Blue Jays in this series just because the Dodgers haven't been hitting, and Yamamoto can't pitch every game.
Yamamoto will pitch game 6. They'll get 6, and they just need tomorrow, and they'll be all right. So
it's a good series. It's a series.
I know.
The whole season comes down to 3 games. Best out of 3. This is what it's all about, man.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling how the Dodger lineup has just gone this cold. And it could be something that we're just completely overlooking, how this, like, and we talked about it earlier, like how in the postseason they really haven't done much. And it's the worst time to get cold.
They don't have chess moves to make in their lineup in the sense that they don't have guys that they can bring in off the bench. They're not versatile. And like, that's a really good point you make, because you look at the guys that they have that didn't make the roster. Dalton Rushing, he's a catcher. I mean, he battled some injury this year. Michael Conforto, he was a big ticket free agent that they gave about 17, 18 million this year, and he's sitting at home. And you kind of wish 18 million just isn't sitting on a couch right now. Well, I think he's actually at the games, but yeah, he's not playing.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. He's not on the roster. I'm just saying he's not. He was hitting. He played 139 games with a slash line of 199, 305, and 333.
He wasn't good.
It wasn't good. So I mean, hey, there has to be something. And I mean, the Dodgers got to do something, my guy. They got to do something to the lineup. I still like the Dodgers this series. I still think they're going to get it together. I think Mookie's going to turn up. I think the boys are going to get it done at the end of the day tomorrow. I think Snell will be decent.
Yeah, I just want to finish that thought. They don't have the chess pieces. They don't have those guys that they can bring in off the bench if a dude is struggling. Like, it's basically, they have a world-class lineup. They have arguably the best lineup in the sport, for sure. But they don't have those guys, or it's basically riding with their dudes. There's no one they can bring in. And if they're not hitting, like a lot of these guys aren't right now, especially some of those stars. I know Freddie had the huge hit. I know Mookie played decently today, but like all in all, if you look at the numbers in the World Series on the postseason, they just haven't been hitting, and they kind of just have to run out the same lineup every single game because they're not deep. they're deep in terms of their starting pitching. That's the deepest part of this team. The bullpen's not deep. The lineup's not deep, or the bench isn't deep. So it's something to watch. I think the Blue Jays have more chess pieces that they can pull out, and it's not necessarily name brand dudes that they're putting off the bench or whatever, rotating in and out of the lineup, but they have moves they can make to, for when a lefty comes in out of the pen, they have righties they can bring in. They have guys that can pinch run. I think they have the better bullpen. So I think this is anybody's series for the last 3 games. I can't wait. It's been great so far. I'm glad this game ended at a normal time tonight. I don't have anything else really to hit on this evening, but
I think the final point I'll make before we go to bed, because I have to go to bed. I just can't hang anymore. I don't have it in me like a 21-year-old or 18-year-old going out. But I think the biggest thing is let's look at what the Blue Jays did. Varland, Shane Bieber, IKF. Those were the big acquisitions at the deadline for them. And what did the Dodgers do at the deadline? Alex Cole. They could have easily done it. They could have, and I don't want to always bring up the Yankees. They could have gotten Ahmad Rosario. You could have gotten Austin Slater. Just versatile pieces that have chess pieces, as we say, to move around. And they could have gotten an IKF, and that would have been great. Or they could have gotten another outfielder, another bat, but they did not. And I mean, Alex Cole, yeah, he's good. I'm not saying he's terrible, but they just like we said, they lack chess pieces. They just the cupboard is not stocked, and I think if the Dodgers do lose this series, I think it'll come down to the lineup not producing, like we said, and them not being that versatile off the bench, and that is a scary sight because if they do not win this World Series, that them and the Mets are going to spend an absurd amount of money.
Yeah, and I don't think the Dodgers need to go out and sign the biggest free agents, although Kyle Tucker makes a lot of sense for this team. They might just build out some of that depth. We'll see what they do, but that's all we got this evening. Blue Jays win 6-2 in Game 4. I think this was a huge statement victory for the Jays. Luis thinks it's more about the Dodgers just not hitting right now. We'll see.
They aren't hitting because, like I said, they aren't hitting. The Blue Jays pen's been incredible this postseason.
I think I agree. It's a very fascinating series the rest of the way. I picked the Blue Jays tomorrow. Luis is going with the Dodgers. Cannot wait. We will be recapping it, of course, after the game tomorrow evening, live as usual. Only potentially 3 baseball games left in the season, which kind of stinks, but they are the best ones. This is an awesome series. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for supporting us this year. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on all the social medias, and we'll be back tomorrow night. Until then, peace out.